Hey everyone, Hannah here for SOC 101. I walked away from class today realizing that it would be nice if there was a recording of me you all could watch to ensure that you complete everything you need to complete. So here I am in my office creating that. All right, so the first thing I want to point out is when you log into Moodle, things should look different. And you can see I'm in student view up here, which means this is what Moodle should look like for y'all. One of the things I did is I cleaned stuff up. Stuff from the first half of the semester, you should already have consumed. So any PowerPoints you should have downloaded, assignments I did, for the most part, get rid of. And that's because I wanted to declutter Moodle as much as possible. With some of our classes being virtual, with me not being here in person, Moodle is the number one way that I can communicate with the entire class. So I want to make sure you can access the things you need to that are most recent from our class in Moodle. So I think this stuff is all stuff that you need access to. First Day Complete is how you're going to access your books for this class, right? But after that, you can go all the way down to your portfolio check. You'll be continuing to use this portal when you submit your final portfolio check at the end of the semester. So that's why that is still there. I haven't finished grades for your group presentations, mostly because I'm waiting for evals from everyone. So if you want to just refresh your memory on how you're being graded for that assignment, you can access that. And then there was some stuff covered on the last PowerPoint before the midterm exam that I think might be relevant to what we're still doing in class. So I left that here. Obviously, you might want to check and see what your midterm score was and sort of the organizational structure of the questions and stuff like that as you start to prepare for the final exam. So you still have access to that. And then all of the PowerPoints from the second half of the semester. So after the midterm exam. That's all available. Same thing with, if you need to do your extra credit options, you can upload that. Any changes to the syllabus and course schedule are still accessible. If you want to check and see if your midterm rewrite submission has been graded, you still have access to that. All right. And then if you scroll down to the very bottom of our Moodle page, this is the most recent stuff. It's a little annoying that Moodle doesn't allow you to post the newer stuff at the top, but alas, this is what we're working with. So if you recall from class, there were some schedule changes made. So if you click on that, it'll download. Let's see what those schedule changes are. So go down to the week we're in right now. Here. You'll see that today was the last student presentation for the Beyonce book, and we are sort of recalibrating and going back to the stuff textbook and some other things related to SOC 101. I won't be here starting tomorrow is when I leave. So on Wednesday, there will be a guest lecturer who will be covering gender-based violence and practical interventions you can implement here on our college campus. Take notes. If you're not here, hopefully one of your classmates will be kind enough to share notes. But potentially the intervention strategies discussed by our guest lecturer will be on the final exam. So pay attention. On Friday, instead of having a traditional class, it'll be a concept map workday. So you can go to our classroom if you need to access a computer, or you just want to meet up with some of your friends from the class and bounce ideas off of each other as far as what content you're going to cover on your concept map. But I won't be there. And this is a space for you to go out and carve out some time in your busy schedules to go and work on this assignment, right? And so if you need to go to the library, whatever you need to do, do. I will have a Zoom portal that is available on Moodle. If you have any questions about the concept map, this is when you're going to meet up with me via Zoom and ask those questions. And so that will be on Friday, November 11th, during our regularly scheduled class time, so 11 to 11:50 a.m. If you can't ask me questions during Zoom, maybe you're leaving to go visit your family for a long weekend, you can also schedule a one-on-one meeting with me via Zoom. On Monday, I will not be in class again, so instead, you are going to be watching a documentary. You can click on this link here for Canopy, use your Coastal credentials to log in, so your Coastal email address and password, and you'll be able to access a plethora of documentaries, including Dreamworlds 3, or if you think Dreamworlds 3 will be triggering based off of the extended clip that we watched today in class on Monday, you can also watch Chris Rock's documentary on good hair. Both documentaries in their own ways relate to stuff we're covering in class, especially the Beyonce book we just finished. If you do Dreamworlds 3, I'll be posting a study guide on Moodle that you can complete for portfolio points. And similar to Tough Guys, there'll be a submission portal for that study guide because it will be longer, but that will actually be you contributing to your portfolio points. So on your ongoing documentation of portfolio entries, you'll just say, on November 14th, I watched Dreamworlds 3, I completed the study guide, and I uploaded that study guide to Moodle, and that'll be your entry. If you want to do the Chris Rock Good Hair documentary instead, I don't have a study guide for it, so you'll need to email me and say that that's your choice. And from there, I'll give you a writing prompt you can do if you need portfolio points for this class period. So either way, you can watch one of those two documentaries and get portfolio points. Then you'll notice that the deadline for the concept map has been extended to the entire class. So the new deadline is Wednesday, November 16th, 15 minutes before class. And then I will be lecturing on Stuff Chapter 9, going over technology and social networks. That way, you'll have your concept map completed and out of the way as you begin to prepare for the final exam. Just as a reminder, I have made an executive decision about our final exam. So, if you recall, our final exam is, I don't have it with me, but actually what I'll do is I'll show you. If you Google Coastal Carolina University final exam schedule fall 2022, you can see I've looked this up before. This is what you'll find. And so you just go to, we meet Wednesday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Thank God it's not at 7 a.m. We meet at 11, which means that our exam time is 11 a.m. on Wednesday, December 7th. That means you'll have a 24-hour period. So from 11 a.m. on Tuesday the 6th until 1 p.m. on Wednesday, December 7th, you'll have access to the final exam on Moodle. You can take the exam anywhere you want. You can take it at the library, at your dorm, at home, at your parents' house if you're flying back early. You can take it anywhere. You can also show up at our regularly scheduled exam time and meet me in person if you have any last-minute questions or anything like that. From there, it'll be the exact same setup as before, so it'll be mostly multiple choice and true-false. There will be at least one short response question, maybe two, and it'll be that same process on Moodle where each question is its own page, and you'll be able to go back and forth to answer questions. Now, I am making the exam available to you in advance, and you can take it anywhere you want, which means I can't allow for any oversight as far as whether or not you use your notes. So that's kind of a big reveal on this video. It will be open notes. So I hope that that will help you. My thought process is that, you already have so much stress at the end of the semester. You're making plans to visit your family and go home. You have a million things to prepare for, final papers, final presentations, and exams. I think creating an open notes exam will help you all feel more confident And obviously, if you're not doing this study guide in advance and you aren't studying and prepared, you're not going to be able to answer all the questions correctly in the 2-hour time frame you have. So I really think this is the best option. I think it's equitable to all students, and it benefits those folks who are preparing in advance. The other thing is that because it is a final exam at the end of the semester, you don't have the option of doing midterm rewrites the way you did, exam rewrites the way you did for the midterm. And so this is sort of another way to benefit those students who are willing to do the extra work of preparing the study guide. It'll be a much smoother process for you, and hopefully you'll do better on the final exam as a result. And so again, this is where you can look up any of your final exams for any of your classes this semester. So prepare accordingly. Oh, there's a little bit of a noise next door. Anyway, I hope that this information helps you all. I know it's a little wonky that we're not meeting in person, but I will never ask you to just, completely not engage with me if I'm not here in person. So we got some documentary learning to do, we got some guest lectures, and you got some in-class work time to complete assignments. And if you get your concept map completed early because you were already prepared for that original deadline, you can use that time, that in-class work time, to start preparing for your final exam, which will be the Beyonce book will be front and center if you need sort of a direction to take in terms of starting to prepare for the final exam early. You might want to get caught up with a free write if you were sick and you missed a free write, or maybe you need to organize your portfolio entries. Use that time for yourself. Maybe you're caught up in my class, but you need time to get caught up in another class. That's fine, do that. I just want that time to be carved out in your schedule so that you can do well on your concept map, and you also feel like you have some study time and some time to mentally prepare for a final exam schedule. The last thing I'm going to do, so in class I've showed you 2 electronic examples of the concept map, but I've also said you can do a hard copy. So here's an example of what that can look like. So you can see this isn't computer paper, notebook paper. It's a mini cardboard. And you can see how there's a key down here. Where you can see that things are color-coded, and it's very clear how all these different concepts connect. You can also see that there's a lot of text here in each bubble, sort of that traditional concept map that I gave you an electronic example of. The only thing that I would say about this concept map that needs a little bit of improvement is all of the students' text is written in pencil. So if you do a hard copy of your concept map, you want to make sure, even if you initially use pencil, to make sure you don't have any mistakes, you'll want to go over that with a Sharpie or something that's a little easier to read. That just makes your assignment look a little more polished, which is what we're looking for at the college level. And so I hope that this example gives you an idea of what this assignment can look like if you choose to do a hard copy. But essentially, and I hope this comes out in the assignment rubric, which is on Moodle. If you go to concept map rubric, you can see how you'll be graded for this assignment. But essentially what you need to be doing for this assignment is taking class concepts that are connected and related to each other, and then typing up or writing out the definitions of these terms and making connections between all the different things we're covering in class. So you might take a chapter of the Beyonce book or the Stuff textbook and pull out some of the key terms from that chapter, define them, connect them. That's one sort of approach to this assignment. This is a great way for you to start preparing for the final exam, right? We know now from the midterm exam that there's going to be a lot of definitions on the exam. You can also take a little less traditional approach where you may not necessarily focus on a specific chapter and you're just bringing in some of the foundational key terms that we discuss throughout the semester and make connections between them. So it's really up to you, and that's why I do try to show you a bunch of different examples of what your concept map can look like. It should be benefiting you as you start to prepare for the final exam. But of course, there is a rubric for the assignment if you need that type of structure. And as always, if you have any questions, please let me know. The last thing that I want to go over, I had mentioned in class, I think it would be a good idea for me to offer optional one-on-one meetings with students so that we can Zoom together one-on-one and sort of go over your grade together in Moodle. So basically what that would look like is we would schedule a time to meet. I would have your grade pulled up already in terms of all the points you've earned on Moodle so far. And we would go through all those points, make sure that nothing was missed. Maybe you submitted free write 1 late and it didn't get graded. So that needs to be addressed. And then once we ensure that everything has been properly graded and, everything's good to go in terms of what you completed and your grades, we would calculate that grade together and come up with your current grade in the class. I think that really puts a lot of students at ease as they go into the final exam. And I know a lot of your parents really care about that. And yet, if you look at Moodle and you share your Moodle with your parents or your coach or, whoever's in charge of your fraternity or sorority, these are all the different ways that maybe your GPA really matters, right? It doesn't always make sense. It's not always intuitive. So this way you can actually record me saying, this is your grade in our class in SOC 101 going into the final exam. And so I'll allow students to be co-hosts if they need to record their grade for any reason, but I will not let you invite other people to the Zoom because I really believe that your grade in all of your classes is a personal thing, and I don't think that it should be shared with folks unless you consent to it and you want to share that information. So I hope this helps. I look forward to seeing everyone's concept maps. I hope to see all of you on the Zooms. I know a lot of you have been sick recently, so hopefully being able to Zoom and do some virtual alternatives to traditional in-class meetups will help us as we continue battling all the germs in the dorms. Anyway, I hope you have a great week. I hope this helps you stay organized. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. I will see you all soon.